All right, everybody, we are back again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru, and I have the brother from Nigeria on with us today, Mike Olawale. Olawale, sorry about that.
Correct,
And
man.
we're going to be discussing today the importance of Black people getting back to African spirituality. I just don't understand after taking the time out, traveling to Benin, traveling throughout Africa and learning more about, our spiritual systems, not religion, because it wasn't religion, it was spirituality. I don't understand why we are so a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us are so anti indigenous African spirituality. I mean, to the point we are spooked out. Literally, you don't understand how many of my friends we are spooked out by our own spirituality. You don't understand how many of my friends would tell me that to stay away from African spirituality, whether it be voodoo, juju, whatever it's called, whatever you want to call it, because their family members practice juju in the bush, and how all they would do is just uh, try to curse each other, and then when you bring up everything that whether it be Christianity or Islam, everything they've done to Black people, they want to ignore it or give it a pass or make excuses. And it's just so weird. Like, I'm like, goodness, they justified colonializing us, enslaving us to the Bible. But you want to overlook that, but you want to judge your own indigenous system just because your auntie in the bush practiced juju. So
Man,
we need to get into that. So Mike, now you're Yoruba, correct?
yeah, that's correct, man. That's correct.
So let's break down. Let's just start. Why are a lot of Africans in 2018? Why are they so spooked out by indigenous, their own spirituality that the ancestors brought them? Why?
I'll put it this way, man. I'll put it this way. I'll be the first to do this, man. I want to diagnose the black race. Like I'll say when I say the black race with some a disease called intellectual laziness,
Okay.
right? A black person is the only person I know that we have a problem right now, and you will give him a book and say, "Hey, brother, there's a solution to your problem in this book right here." And he'll still not read. He's still not gonna read that book. He will not read that book. It's something about us that we're so like we are people that when we hear something right, and we may doubt it, but because it takes an effort to go do a research to confirm, to know, to do our independent research, we just accept it as a truth because we're so lazy to go do a research. Okay, how can people tell you that something is this and that, and you don't do a research, you just accept it like that? What does that tell you? When they are, I mean, at least make an effort to do a research, right? But no, we're so intellectually lazy, and the reason for that is because of our desire for pleasure. Average black person spend more time looking for something pleasuring. If
Mm.
you tell a black person, why don't you read a book? What would they tell you? Ah, that's boring. Or they will not read a book to save their life. Or they'll do something. If it's not pleasuring, we don't want to do it. And that's the reason. And that's one thing white people understand. And they've always been using it. And you just laugh at us, you know? And now, to answer your question, why? I mean, this goes back to brainwashing. And I will go back. You know what? Let me go back in history, man. This whole thing, this whole propaganda. You know what? This whole lecture, I'm gonna break it down three phases, man. One,
All right, now take it, bro. Take your time. Take your time. The
okay, okay.
floor is yours. Take your time.
Thank you. Okay, I will start with the point where our Europeans decided to start the propaganda to try to just what they declare war against pretty much African anything Africa, and they know reason why. And the second phase, I'm going to talk about my background, how I was connected to it, how I got connected to just my background, and then the third, I will break down in details what this is all about, what our spirituality is all about. There is no different in our. As a matter of fact, it's very similar to Christianity. Our religion is a monolithic religion. It is one God that we believe in. Christians believe in one God and angels. We believe in one God and angels. Christians call it God and angels. We call our God Olodumare, and we call our angels Orishas. Same thing. And Europe, all religions in the world came from the concept. All came. They learned from us, first of all. And most Africans not know this. And you know what's so funny? Most Nigerians, you will find their names coming from our deities or our spiritual system, and still they still call it demonic. Why you bring a name that has a a deity? But now let me go to the history first before I even get to the now. This whole thing, war against our spiritual system, started in the plantation in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Right? During the slave trade, Europeans, when they captured slaves from Africa, our spiritual system traveled with the slaves to the diaspora, to Cuba, Brazil, Haiti, or Colombia, pretty much anywhere there was slaves. The spiritual system traveled with them. And there were instances where the slaves that knew how to use the spiritual system against the masters started doing it. In the case was, let me use example of Haiti in 1804, when the Haitians launched a revolution against the French,
Right.
where the slaves invoked the Yoruba god of war, Ogun.
Bookman. He was from
Yeah,
Jamaica.
yeah. They from. Do you know that the Benin, the what we,
Yeah.
I will break down. I will break down how we're all related. Now you did a show with a guy the other time. I think the other day about the Igbo religion, and that's what got me to call you and say, you know what, these people you're talking to. Even I watched some of your video in Benin, and these people they were just talking. They don't know. They are practicing the thing, but they really don't have the study, the knowledge, the vast knowledge of it. So they would say, "Oh, this is the Igbo religion." No. It's all the same. It's just different language. You understand?
Right.
The deities are all the same. They may have different names because of the different languages. You understand?
Right.
So okay, but anyway, let me stick to the topic. So the history, when in 80, when the Asians launched the revolution, when they invoked the god of war, Ogun, and they went against the French. They conquered the French. They conquered the British came. They couldn't believe that, oh, slaves conquered the French. Like, oh wow, is slave kicked out of your colony? Oh, we're going there to take it. The British went, they faced the same thing. And they conquered the British. The Spaniards, they were colonizing the other side of the island, which was Dominican Republic. The Asians went over there and conquered the Spanish. And the Asians actually colonized Dominican Republic. Do you know that Haiti colonized Dominican Republic?
Correct.
Okay. Now in Brazil, the same thing happened, whereby and anywhere you go in the diaspora, in South America, even in the United States, there's nowhere, even in Colombia, everywhere in South America, you'll find African spiritual system there, where it may not be a lot of people practicing it, but it is there. And I would break all this thing down. Reason why the metaphysics of it, the spiritual, how pretty much this spiritual system is the reason why we all still alive, we as Black people. Because if it is not the spirits of our ancestors and the way the whole thing is working with us, that we're not even aware how this is a part of our everyday life, how they're protecting us. We're not even aware of it. Do you think Europeans will come to North America, come to the islands, see Native American, and wipe them out, right? And then they will bring slaves from Africa, enslave them, and then after finishing enslaving them, a island so beautiful as Jamaica, 80, Trinidad and Tobago, they will allow Blacks to own it? Does that make sense to you? And not wipe them out?
Right.
Do you think after Europeans enslaved Black
Makes
Americans, do you think white America intended to allow Black to remain in this country and now wipe Black people out? Don't you
no.
think there's something supernatural? Do you guys ever ask yourself a question that there is something supernatural happening? There's something out of this world is happening that, I mean, like, why didn't these people wipe us out? You guys do not understand that there are things happening in the spirit world that we're not even aware of, and the Europeans know it, and that's why. Let me start with why. That's why they decided to launch their war to eliminate our spiritual system. Now, let me tell you how they started. After slavery ended, the first move they realized they had to do was that, you know what, we're trying to eliminate these people here, and we are not able to successfully do it. And now, and they realize this, and they discover, I mean, based on things they've seen, especially the Asian war, they know that, okay, they have something very supernatural that not only we're not able to defeat it, if it's it also they also see as a threat that if we not able to defeat it. It might be something that they might use to defeat us or eliminate us in the future at some point. So the Europeans decided, you know what, we got to find a way to launch a war against this thing. So that's why they came to Africa after slavery ended and started approaching Africans saying, you know what, hey, we've done horrible things to you, or let's move on, let's start rebuilding, let's start a new friendship, new relationship. And this is what it did. Now they will go into the main target areas where these things, because they did a research, they found out that the spiritual system come from this area in West Africa called the Yoruba land, the Benin other area, the southern part of Nigeria, and all these areas where these things really strong.
Mhm.
So they came there, and here's what it did. They decided to say, you know what, we got to get rid of the spiritual system. How do we do it? They sat down with a plan and say, you know what, let's replace it with something else. So this is the strategy. When they came and started approaching our elders or our people there, and
Mhm.
started telling them, you know what, hey, we're going to bring our civilization, we're going to bring our system to you, we're going to this civilization, like, no, we're going to educate your children. So what they did was they started building schools, right? And they're free. They started building schools, and then they started telling our parents to send their children. The strategy they came up with was called catch them young. You understand? If I
Mhm.
want to brainwash you, I got to start. It's easier for me to start with you as a kid because it's hard to convert an adult from one religion to another or something else, to convince an adult to stop doing what they do. They knew it was impossible to tell our forefathers to start practicing what they were practicing.
Mhm.
So they came with the idea of, oh, it's going to take time. Let's brainwash the next generation. So they started building schools. The missionaries started building schools. And this is what they did when they built those schools. Now, they were bringing slaves from the diaspora. They were already converted to Christianity, right?
All right.
There was in Nigerian schools, any Nigerian acts will tell you there was a man they used to teach us about. They call him the first African bishop. His name is Bishop Samuel Jai Crowder. They call him, they told him to translate the Bible into the Yoruba language, right? Which they later started translating to other languages like the Igbo language as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
now,
Now, wasn't Samuel Crowther from? I thought he's from America. Was he from
yeah,
America?
yeah, he was the slave that was captured in Yoruba land as a kid. And he was captured as a slave as a kid in Nigeria.
Okay.
But when slavery was abolished, he was brought back to Nigeria. He was already, he had been converted, they had converted him to Catholic, Anglican priest. And they knew that he spoke the Yoruba language. So they brought him to Nigeria and
Uh-huh.
used him to translate the Bible from English to the Yoruba language.
Okay.
So when they did the translation, what they made him do was now start taking the name of our deities and started putting them in the Bible as the demons.
Hmm.
You get it? So now when they translate the Bible into the Yoruba language, calling our deities satanic, demonic, So now our kids are being sent to the schools, right, to learn. And this is something I grew up in Nigeria. I went to school, and this same curriculum was still there even when I was growing up in Nigeria. I was learning that our deities were satanic, were demons. You get my point?
Right.
So they started brainwashing the children. So as generation was coming by, the parents started realizing that the children were running away from them. Were running away from the children being scared of their parents because they were thinking that they were learning one thing in school. And one thing these people were able to do was tell the parents that, hey, wait, tell your children to pay attention in school and let them know that we're teaching them the truth. So they were working with the parents without the parents suspecting that these people here are up to something. You understand?
Right.
So they started naming our deities like Ogun, especially those deities that they knew that the slaves in the diaspora were using against them. The powerful ones like the Ogun, the Shango, the Eshu. They would say Eshu is Satan. They will put in the devil, say Eshu is Satan. And Eshu is not Satan. Just like the other guy, Eshu in the Igbo language also is a coincidence that guy was talking about. And the other day, I guess, in the Igbo language. So they started putting those deities. Eshu is a messenger of God. He's a messenger of Olodumare. He's a direct messenger. He's not Satan. In our spiritual system, God did not create Satan. He created forces. He created positive and negative forces. Everything created in this world was with a positive and negative.
Mm.
Everything has a positive and negative. Just like there's no up, there's no down. There's up, there's down, there's left, there's right. So there is no. So they pretty much came with that whole trick, which is the reason why many Nigerians today, because they were raised in the colonial education system, whereby in schools, I grew up in Nigeria, and I used to think everything Africa was bad, everything Western, everything Europe and America was beautiful, was heaven. That's why many people want to risk their life to go to Europe and America. They were trying to. We were so brainwashed in the continent. You don't even. We have no idea, dude. I'm telling you. You think Black Americans are brainwashed? Hell no. And I said Black people are intellectually lazy, and Nigerians will argue with me and say, "Oh, we go to school, we get degrees and shit." Listen, the only reason you go to school to get a degree is because you want money. It's because you're hungry for money. If there was no money involved, you would never gone to school. People will get these degrees because of money. If how smart, if you claim you're so smart as a Nigerian, how come you never question, you never read about yourself? You go to get degrees, engineering degrees, and you're bragging, you're calling people and so arrogant, you know. No, we're so educated, we're so smart. If you're so smart, why are you still a fool, you know? You don't understand. Why do you how come you never picked up a book to read about your history? Read about, at least learn about your past, you know? You know, I have Black Americans there in Nigeria right now. Like I'm telling about, like they actually in Nigeria trying to save our spiritual system, where our Nigerian people claiming to be, while they all trying to be Americans. You know, you can sit in a, you go to Africa, man, everybody want to be Europeans or Americans. You know, they want to wear American clothes. It's like we were so messed up, man. So basically, that's how they got us. You know, colonialism. You know, through they got the kid. So you really can't blame us. You know, because I mean, if you brainwash the children, and that's why you see many families where the fathers were traditional priests, and once the children go to school, they become Christians. You know, and either they become Christian or they become Muslim or something. You know, so the brainwashing is still on. Even till today, you go to Nigeria, you see all over the place, man. I remember when I was growing up as a kid. I'm talking about these people are spending millions of dollars in Africa just to promote Christianity and get rid of our spiritual system, man. I'm talking about growing up as a kid. People will come to the neighborhood, invite the kids to come eat free food. They will give us gifts. I mean, just to convert us to Christians, man. They will come. I'm talking about they were using the evangelists. Now their strategy is this: it's no longer white faces trying to convert blacks. It was black faces in a white skin, in a white idea, carrying out white ideology. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They're sponsoring all these pastors in Africa. Like they're giving them money they're working with them to use them to destroy their own people, you know?
Hey, question. So somebody in the chat room is asking, how did they use religion to disconnect us? I think you're starting to get into that.
Use religion to disconnect us. What do you mean?
I mean, how do they use religion to disconnect us?
I mentioned they built the schools. They started when they came missionaries. They built the schools and they come with a system of catch them young, where they would tell our forefathers to send us to the schools. And in the early days, the schools were free. So we would go to school and they would use and in African schools, you have to learn this is there most of the things we are learning were religions, were Christian religions. Most of the schools in Africa are missionary schools. That's why most of the schools you go. If you go to Lagos, you get school like St. Francis, St. Catholic, St. Maryland Comprehensive. It's always Catholic or Christian schools, you know. So, and one of the topics is always Christian moral religious knowledge, whereby they start teaching us Christianity, and then in it they start demonizing. And most of the thing they talk about is about just demonizing our spiritual system. They don't even attack Muslims. They don't attack any other religion, but they'll constantly heat up our religion, telling us it's evil, it's satanic, it's
Right.
this,
Exactly.
that's what they do. They constantly carry, and the message has been so into our blood and our, you know, like we all out there promote, like we just been brainwashed to the point where none of us ever asked a question that, you know what, let me go find out. But I'll tell you, I was like that. I won't lie to you, because when I was growing up, I mean, part of me was saying, what is this? I was having questions. I was one of those kids that was like asking questions within myself. But at the same time, when all the adults around me are saying the same thing, I really have to go with what they're saying, you know. So in fact, basically, that's how the propaganda was carried out, you know, and which is still going on. Okay, so now I'll get to my own story, out of my background. Okay, so
Okay. Yeah. Please do. Yeah. Please tell everybody. Please give everybody your background. I know you said your father was a priest.
no, not my father, not my father, not my father, not my father.
Was it grandpa?
My mother's my grandfather, my mother's grandfather was a
Grandpa.
priest.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he was in prison or your town, and he was a very powerful priest, one of those high-ranking priests. So growing up, my mother used to tell us things about him, right? Like, oh, when they were sick, and how, oh, the man used to do some things, man, he used to heal them, he used to do some things that she witnessed a lot of things they used to do, like pretty much for the benefit of the family or the whole community. So she used to talk about him. But funny enough, my mother at the same time, after saying good things about our grandfather being a very good man that was doing great things spiritually, but then she would demonize the religion. She's a Christian. right?
Right.
So I'm hearing double things from my mother. Like, okay, my grandfather was this, and he used to, when they were sick, he used to give them herbs. She wish she knew how to make those herbs. But then she would tell us, hey, that thing is evil. Don't go there. Go to church. So she raised us in church,
Well,
tell us
but Mike, I still don't. I'm still so confused. Why? Like, I mean,
dude, man.
if you just look at the interaction between, especially Christianity and Black people in general, I just don't understand how we continue to make so many excuses for it and give it a pass. And we demonize the fuck out of our own spiritual systems.
Hey, that is, man. I'm telling you. I think the solution is people should start reading. There are books. Just go online. There are books. There are people that are writing books. You're just not aware of it. The books, you're not going to find them in white people's bookstores. When I go to Barnes and Noble, I will never see anything like that because they will not put it up. The people that are writing the books trying to save us, the people that you never hear about them, but you just have to search. There are people writing about these things, trying to wake us up. But the thing is, the thing about Black people, like I said, we're intellectually lazy. We're like, so anything that's not pleasuring, we're not interested. So the things we want to hear about is something that's maybe entertaining, something entertaining, to our ears. That's what we want to hear. We just want to be entertained. We think we came to this world to just have fun. That's it. So if something's not pleasuring, we don't want to be part of it. It's boring. This is why should I look into that? If you don't give them something, a pleasure reason to get into something, Black people will not get into it. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing they understood. That's why when we were kids, they would cook food and come to the neighborhood that was going to get free food. And once we get in there, first thing we have to do is give our life to Jesus Christ. That's the first thing before you get the food.
Wow.
And they're doing that in 80 right now, as a matter of fact. You see, they're launching that one in 80 right now. The missionary food in 80 right now. You can't get a job if you don't convert to Christian. If you don't convert to Christianity, you can't get a job.
And Mike, real quick, people are asking, what can you name some? But before we get off, before we log off, can you name some of the books that you're referencing?
Off my time, let me see if I can grab a couple here around me.
Okay.
There are a lot of books, man. All you have to use, just type Ifa, Orisha, just type.
Yeah, but we want to make sure we get the right books, Mike. I know there's bullshit out there, so we want to make sure we get the right books.
The thing is, once you will get the right books, man. I'm telling you, I don't think just once you type Ifa Orisha, hold on, let me see if I can grab one. You just go this name.
Grab one of your books.
I don't memorize the name of books. I just read books. That's the kind of person I am. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody, ask Mike is looking for the books. Please go to Amarachi TV. Amarachi TV. I just put the link in the chat. Make sure you guys please go visit that site. Please sign up and also please share. Is Black Media Africa it's a platform for African media. So please support that platform, everybody. But everybody, thank you for joining us. Please get the likes up. I mean, guys, stop being stingy with these likes. Again, if you're not super chatting, the least you could do, because it's free, is like and share. That's the least you could do. Okay. Again, just like and share.
Go
ahead.
Here, but this is not one of the top ones. I actually have given out a lot of them. There's one right here.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, we see it. Put it back. Put it back again. Put it back again so people can see it. Put it back again. Okay. Everyone see that. Iwe Odu Ifa.
Yeah, that's one. And this is not even the deepest one. Like that. The thing is, I always give out the books to people that have some people that are actually interested. I've been giving books to just read, So you hardly see books around me, because when I needed to read them is when So I usually most of my books are given to people to just, people I'm trying to help to learn, to study, But definitely just do your research. You will see a lot of books there, and they all tell you the same. I mean, they'll break it down. So anyway, where was that?
Yeah, what we got to do when we get off, you have to email me the list of the of your books, and I can
definitely. I'll email you. I'll do that. I'll definitely email you. Yeah, I'll give you some books, and okay. Where was I? Where did I start?
Somebody said in the chat room, Lagos was basically settled by Catholic and Muslim Black Brazilians. Is that true?
I'll tell you something, man. Do you know that places? Let me any Nigerian that's listening to it right now. There are places in Lagos, in Nigeria, that are named after the Orishas, deities. That these people don't even know. There's a place called Ojuelegba. You know Whiskey. They made a song called Ojuelegba. That's his neighborhood. That's where he come from.
Mm-hmm.
The Oju means a high. The spot. And Legba. You know what Legba is? That's Eshu. That they are calling devil. That's his other name. You always hear Afro Latinos, people in the South, they say Papa Legba. Papa Legba, they call him Papa Legba. Papa means the father. Legba is someone that carries a stick. So that's Eshu. And there are states in Nigeria named after the deities, like Oshun, where you're going. You say you're going to Oshun states. There are states named after these deities. There are these deities. There's Ogun states in Nigeria. There's Oshun states. There's a place called Egba, even a state named Egba. This Egba, who is Eshu? There's a place named Eshu, and people are calling Eshu Satan. That's the funny thing. So, well, let me get to my story. Let me just give you my story. How my story
is.
is.
Let me start and then I got a question for you. Go ahead, and then I got a question for you.
My story is so interesting, Dinus, man, because I was where you guys were. I was a guy that was lost, just like everybody else. I'm telling you, I was a guy that was completely lost. But though I had questions in my mind because of things I was saying, because growing up, I used to see my mother like say good things about her grandfather, but then demonize the religion at the same, under the same breath. And then when we were kids, right? My mother was a person where whenever we have problems or we're sick, we'll pray in the name of Jesus, pray. When that problem is not able to be solved, then she will go to the voodoo priest, to the Babalawo, to get a solution. Okay, I remember when I was a kid, I was so sick that my mother did a lot of prayer, Jesus, gave me Western medicine. I was sick to the point of death. Then she realized, oh man, this kid is too sick. And then she went to the herbalists, the traditional people, to give him traditional medicine. And the moment I took this medicine, within hours, I was up running. I'm talking about kids been sick for days. They was ready to die. And these people we are calling satanic worshippers, they have traditional herbal medicines. That will literally heal your disease. Now, I noticed my mother, she was the kind of person that used to get in trouble a lot. I got a lot of things from her, man, like getting in trouble and things. She's the kind of person that used to fight on the job. And then whenever she gets in trouble, she's about to get fired or something, a big trouble. Then she realized, oh man, she would go to the voodoo priest, for help, like whenever she was in deep trouble, she would go to the priest for help. But then she's a Christian. After doing all that, she would come back and start demonizing it again, telling us, oh, this is satanic. But I'm like, what's wrong with this woman, for Christ's sake? Like, I was confused as a child, like, and then as a kid, even the old white Jesus thing, somehow I used to question this, because I would go to a church in Nigeria, everybody's black, and in front of the church is a picture of a big white man,
Big white Jesus, yes.
Yeah, all these things used to, like, as a kid, I don't know, maybe I used to look everybody like, all these adults in this room now feeling some kind of way. As a little kid, I used to wonder, like, something is wrong. I always knew something was wrong, but somehow, because of things that feeding me in school and people around me, just constant demonization of this spiritual system, and Nollywood, trust me, there are white people, I'm pretty sure, behind this Nollywood sponsoring, because they make a lot of stupid movies about this tradition to just demonize it all the way, man. I'm very sure. These Christians in Nigeria, until they realize what they're doing, I don't know, man. But anyway, so let me continue my story. So I was growing up. I would say where everything changed, where I completely just turned it, like, you know what? I'm going to my spiritual system. I'm done with Christianity. I'll tell you my story, dude. One day, okay, I came to America in '98. I was 16 years old, I was one of those kids where, everybody, African used to get bullied and, in school and everything, you get bullied around. But I was one of those kids because I grew up in a part of Lagos where it's tough, you fight back and that kind of things. So I used to kind of fight people back whenever they diss me, call me names. I was the kind of kid where you don't want to insult me because I would say something that would break your heart, So after high school, I went to the military. I was in the Navy. So the whole bullying continued. The African military was even worse in high school, dude. Like, I mean, in high school it was just the kids, the African American kids, or here in the military it was the white kids, the useless white kids from the racist white kids from Georgia, from all these places. They'll really, really get on you if you're African. Like, they'll really, really bully your ass. So in the military, I used to like respond. I used to like stand my ground, because that's where I was raised in Lagos. I stand my ground, So I made a lot of enemies. That was the point, because I would kind of gather would hurt your feeling. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I would hurt your feelings. So a lot of those guys didn't like me. So there was a time where some group of guys decided to set me up, right? There were a lot of stealing going on. I told you I was in California. That's when I was stationed in California. I was
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was stationed in California. So a group of guys wanted to set me up. So they went to take a laptop. It's one of their laptop. They figured a code to my room because one of my roommates was a dude that used to give all his friends the code to the room. So they knew the code to my room, right? So they pushed, when I wasn't around, they pushed the code to my room. So they brought a laptop. So they went and hide it in one of my locker that was open. They put it there. And then they went and announced that, oh, laptop is missing. Oh, somebody stole a laptop. I have no idea. I didn't even have a clue, like anything. So the commanding officer said, hey, he announced the next day, like, if you know that you don't want to took this laptop, just return it. I'm not going to punish anybody. Just put it somewhere. This and that. The old command was looking at each other like, what the fuck, you know? So they say, hey, we're going to search everybody's room. People should we'll give you one more day. Not the whole time they know this thing was in my locker. So the day they were searching, I mean, I'm sure everybody's looking like, okay, where are they going to find this thing? Where are they going to find this thing? All of a sudden, they found it in my locker. So
Okay.
I was in a court martial, right? I was in a court martial. So I went to court martial. I
Oh,
told the command, I said, listen, do a fingerprint on their laptop. You're not going to find my fingerprint on it. I tell you. They didn't even do that. They just say, oh, you know, the military is different for civilian war. It's almost like you don't have a right, you know. So they say, oh, based on because you've been getting so much trouble with people, I mean, conflict with people for so long, look at your record. There was a time you cursed out your superior. You know, they use all that, you know how they do black people like, oh, look at your record. Because of your record, you're guilty, you know, that kind of stuff. So somehow the commanding officer said, okay, you know what? This thing that happened, he didn't even say you're guilty of stealing. He just say you're guilty of trouble, getting in trouble, basically. So he said, because this is your fifth time you've been, they reported you got in conflict. They would just put a bunch of bullshit together. And they decided they're going to give me a discharge from the military, meaning kicked out of the military. And this means, and that time I was a U.S. citizen, I was still a green card holder. And this means if you get kicked out of the military, you get deported to Africa, period. If you're not a citizen yet at that time, right? So I'm like, did they give me a discharge? So I called, while the case was going on, while they were doing the old commercial thing, I called my mother. And she was like, we go to church, we're going to pray for you, we're going to do everything. Just pray to Jesus, pray to Jesus. So I'm every night I would pray to God, like, I'll pray to Jesus, like, hey, come on, you know, like, Jesus' name, what is things, you know, because I was raised Christian. So I did all the praying to Jesus. So when I went to the court martial, the commanding officer gave me a discharge anyway, after doing all the praying. So my mother realized that, oh, it's all done. Then she started running around and trying to find who the voodoo priest is. So she found somebody who she's very connected. She knows someone that knows someone that, you know. So I was on the phone with a priest, and the priest asked me, he said, tell me, did you commit this offense that you were being found guilty of? I told him, honestly, I am not. I told him honestly. He said, listen to me. If you are telling me that you did not do what this thing that you've been accused of, you set up, if it's true that you're telling me, we can do a spiritual justice whereby everything, the discharge will be reversed. But if you're lying to me, if we go ahead and do this, that thing might fall on you. You understand? Because this is about justice. He said, if you actually committed this crime, just don't let me go ahead and do any kind of ritual for you, because this spiritual justice is real justice. There's no, you understand? He was telling me that. I'm looking at what is it? Well, I just told him I was confident that, hey, I have nothing to do with that stuff. So he said, okay. He said, you told me, but one more time. I told him, sir, I did not have nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do. So the man went to do spiritual work. And next thing I know, about the next day, quite like the same day did I walk. By the next day, I was just walking somewhere and I just ran into this guy right on base, on the military base. And the guy just started a conversation with me, like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? I was like, yeah, I'm great. What's going on? How you doing? I just moved to he just moved to the base, you know. So he's like an officer. So we started talking, and I told him that, oh man, I'm depressed. He's like, what's the problem? So I told him, I said, I'm kicked out of the military for. He said, what happened? I said, man, I swear to God, I'm being set up. I cannot believe this is happening to me. He said, whoa, tell me the story. So I told him, like, some people that just like me, man, because I'm from Africa and shit, and they just decided to go as far as setting me up to put a laptop in my locker, and then the commanding officer wouldn't even believe my story and decided to kick me out. And this guy was like, oh, hold on. Do you know you can appeal? I'm like, what? He said he's a military lawyer. And this guy said, okay, tell me the story. I break the whole story to him. And this guy took my case, didn't appeal, went above my commanding officer, and reversed the whole thing. I'm
Wow.
like, what the fuck? I'm like, this, you know, like that's when I was like, whoa. And they reversed the whole case. And I was able to retain the military. This is the spiritual work that was done, justice. I'm like, hold on, all my life, man. That's what that was like the turning point of my life where I say, you know what? I need to at least go and read about my spiritual. Let me go study this thing. And then when I started studying, started ordering books, I actually sat with a man. Like I met him. I bought him a laptop, I bought him a gift. I flew to go meet him, to sit down with him, just to get, because that stuff, that moment changed my life. That was like a turning moment of my life. Like this thing they've been telling me is demonic. He hasn't been doing nothing but helping me all my life. Since I was a kid, when I was sick, I almost died. It was a spiritual priest that gave me medicine to save my life. As an adult, when I'm in a point where I was about to be finished, it was a spiritual priest that saved my life. That's why I'm like, you know what? I need to go and read about this thing. Go study, go find the bottom line. There must be something good about this thing. And guess what I discovered? Everything I've been told was bullshit. I started reading the history, finding out how the Europeans, all these things just opening up, revealing to me, like, this is bullshit, you know? I found out we worship one God, Olodumare. He's the creator, he's a supreme being. You understand? Now, as I got to get into I don't, oh my God, man. Then I started to realize, now, this is my story. You know, this is my story I'm breaking down, man. I hope this right here, we make some people at least start thinking and stop being foolish, you know. Now, from my study, let me get into the spiritual system. Let me just not give you the fundamental of this spiritual system that people are calling satanic, my friend.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I mentioned earlier, Christians, Muslims, they all believe in God and angels. We believe in God and angels. Our God is Olodumare, our angels are Orisha, right? Now, the difference between us and these Christians is that their religion started in on earth. It started on earth. There's a history. Everybody know when Christianity was started. There's a date where it started. Islam started. There's a date where it started. There's a human being that created a religion. Our religion started in heaven. They created their religion. Our religion created us. Now, I'll get into it. In the Ifa system, in the our spiritual system, right? We have Olodumare, meaning the one, Odu, the Olo, the word the Olo in the Yoruba word. The word O in Yoruba means the owner of the Odu. The Odu is where power are stored, the power, energy, because everything is a manifestation of energy. The ones that own the energy that never ends. That's the definition of Olodumare. The one that owns the energy that never ends. So now Olodumare created, in the beginning, I'm telling you our own story. Olodumare created these Orishas. Now there are 801 Orishas. Now 800 plus one. That's how they always say. Now I'll break it down to you. Now, out of this 800 plus one, 400 stays in heaven. 200 on the right side of Olodumare, the other 200 on the left side of Olodumare. That 400 stay in heaven. Now the other 400, they constantly comes to earth and back. And plus one, that plus one Orisha they're talking about is the Ori, the ones. That's the human consciousness. In the Igbo language, it's called the Chi. A lot of Igbos, and the funny thing is, a lot of these people have names. A lot of Igbo people, their name is Chineze, Chinagoro, Chidoze, Chi. Their name is full of the Chi. And they're still Christians, you know. You
Right.
know, and Yoruba see their names like Oriade, you know, but they bear these names. There was a pastor he didn't even know his name was the name of a deity. And until I told him, you know. So basically, we have out of these 400 Orishas, there comes to earth and back. Now, here's the story. Now, we have when in the beginning when God, Olodumare, which was God, when he created these Orishas, right? In the
Right.
beginning, he created these Orishas in heaven. He created heaven before he created earth. When he created these Orishas in heaven, he also created us as spirits in heaven, where we all have communities in heaven, right? They were spirits, and we have the Orishas, and then the 800 Orishas, and then the Ori. Ori is another Orisha, that's the plus one, it's a special Orisha. Now, the Ori is the one that comes to earth to carry out destiny. You understand? So, what happened is, we as people in heaven, that's why Yoruba people say heaven, they will say, Ayenoja Onile. It means this planet is a place of market. Heaven is our home. We're just here for as a market, it's a marketplace. We're here to fulfill our destiny. So, here's how it works. So in the beginning, when Olodumare created, you know, remember I said earlier that our religion started in heaven, Christianity started on earth,
Right.
Islam started on earth. Our religion started, and we were all created in heaven as spirits, and the Orishas were created also with special. Each Orisha has its own special power. He created every Orisha for unique reason, right? Now I will tell you what all these special powers are. So after he created these orishas and created every entities, every deity, I mean everyone, pretty much every human spirits and everything. Now he sent these orishas to earth to come and build this earth, right? And every one of these orishas came to earth first to build this planet. They built. That's why you find the god of the iron, god of the river, god of this thunder, lightning, the god of all this. Remember, people always lie. Oh, they worshiping thunder, they worshiping stone. No, 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 no. The orishas were the one that built all these things. Every material here on earth, the orisha built them, and they pull something called asher, the power to make things work. They put their asher in every one of these things. The asher means power to make things work, move. So they put a share in everything they created on this earth, the metals, the soil. There's orisha for almost every material on this planet, right? So
Yeah.
after they created, now the story, now let me tell you how the story relates to the Ifa. When the orishas came to this earth to start building this earth, the first place they landed, where they put the first soil, is a land they all look at themselves and named Ile Ife. Ile Ife means the land of expansion. So when they started from there and started expanding the land, that place they call Ileife. That's the place the Yorubas believe it's Ileife in Nigeria today. So after they built this, established Ileife, then they established monarch system. One of the Orisha called Oduduwa was the first king. After they built the earth, pretty much when the humans came, when they started, basically they built the earth, right? They built the earth. They did the work first, and there's a lot of stories about. And these stories basically do you know we have scriptures? Do you know that? Okay.
I didn't know that. No.
Oh my God, man, there's so much, man. Okay, let me tell you what these stories are. In our divination system, they call it the Ifa system. They have if you go and look it up, they have something called the Odus, right? The Odus are 16 Odus, right? Now, in the Odus, each Odu has two sides. 4 mark on one side, another 4 mark on the other side, right? Now, 4 plus 4, that's 8. Now, 8 in metaphysics is the number of infinity, right?
Right.
16 is the presence of God. Now, the Odu is the words in the Odu are the direct speech of Olodumare, the creator. And those are the speeches that he used to create the planets. So when somebody asks me what is Ifa, what is voodoo, the priest in the lake, when you go to the lake and ask them what is Ifa, they will tell you it's the direct speech of Olodumare, the direct speech of God. Any word is coming from Ifa, it's the direct speech of Olodumare. Now, in that Odu,
are you there? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. But I'm just not seeing your face though. But I can hear you.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going in and out.
Yeah. Can you hear me though?
Okay, it's better. It's better. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're going in and out a little bit.
I can hear you very well, man.
Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
In this 16 Odus, when they marry the 16 Odu, combine them, 16 times 16, you get 256 Odus. So we have told us 256 Odus, which is the principle that the scientists used to design 256 bits that they were using to design computers today. They don't tell you.
Whoa. Back up for a second. That was a question. So somebody in the chat room said that Ifa was used to build computers.
Yes.
Chat room.
Yeah, that's what I just said too.
Wow.
Yeah. Most of the science that white people are using, they're studying this thing from us, man. The basis of their knowledge is coming from us, but they don't tell you that. They came to deceive you that, hey, they come to steal you. They didn't only come to Africa to steal resources. They come to steal knowledge too. People just don't know that. We are just dumb, That's why they, covering our face with all this entertainment and all this shit, so we don't, brainwashing all these entertainments and all this shit, so that way we don't start looking into knowledge, But anyway, this 256 Odu, inside of this Odu, each Odu, there are thousands of knowledge. I'm talking about knowledge of philosophy, mathematics, history, metaphysics, ethics. Oh my God, man. Anything that has to do with life, the laws of life. If you begin to read this thing, to study this thing, I swear to God, you're going to be scared. And that's when you went to Africa, you notice something about African people, the moral ways they behave. These things come from our traditional system. It didn't come from Islam and Christianity, man. These all corrupt things that we're doing, it didn't start happening until all this foreign religion came. We were people that know laws that God created on this earth for us to follow. I'm telling you, dude, inside of this Odu, there's stories. There are thousands. For you to become a priest, what we call Babalawo. Babalawo is the father of the Baba means father, Awo means secret.
Mm-hmm.
So they call it the fathers of the secret. Those are the people that are the custodians of this information. And the complete knowledge of this Odu can only be found among in the Ile-Ife and Oyo Empire. It can in other part of Africa, like in Benin, all these Igbos and all these people, what they have is these people, all these other tribes in Nigeria, in Africa, in period, you will find a deity or two, but you're not going to find a complete knowledge, because the way these other tribes were established was it was a warrior that would come from somewhere. They will bring a deity along with him. So these other tribes, they all just understand the concept of the consciousness, but they don't have the full knowledge of the old spiritual system. That's why I say the only place you can find this old knowledge is in the Yoruba land. You have to go there, and the people that have it there is a court, or people call it Ogboni people. Ogboni, they have the complete knowledge where they can train. Do you know how long it takes a priest to become a priest?
Okay.
A priest to be able to divine.
Okay. Real quick, one question. So, so I was told when I was in Benin that Ifa is the oracle.
It's the oracle.
Ifa, yeah. Okay, but I hear a lot of people saying I practice Ifa, and from what I was told, when you say you practice Ifa, that means you're an oracle. Are you?
No. Like the thing is, you gotta understand humans. Like when we start describing, the thing is this. Okay, when we want to describe our spiritual system, we go in the form of trying to name it like Christian. Okay, like when someone says what's a religion, like you say Christian or Muslim, but our spiritual system is not. It's not a religion. You understand?
Right.
So for you to just let people understand, okay, where you're coming from. So people will say, oh, you're about religion. So you say Ifa. Some people say, even in Trinidad, they'll say it's Shango. You understand? And people just give names just to let you know where they're coming from. So the actual spiritual system is nothing but information. It's not a religion. It's just information. Ifa is the oracle. There's the Ifa oracle, right?
Okay.
And they're the orishas. Now, in the Ifa oracle, that's what you divine. Basically, back in the olden days, back in the ancient time when our forefathers were building pyramids, were doing great things. I'm talking about before Europe and everybody even woke up. There were principles that they used to follow to guide their lives. Back then, they didn't used to do anything without consulting the oracle first. Basically, the oracle is basically a guide because this is a story. Before we all came to this planet, right? Before we came to this earth, before you're born in heaven, every individual negotiate his own destiny with God, with the Creator, right? And there are three forms of destiny. There is one that you're coming to do on behalf of the Creator as a collective whole for humanity. And the second one you're coming here to do on behalf of your people, your ancestors in heaven. Because they will tell you that, hey, you're coming to this world, please. This is the thing we don't want you to do. Another world, do things to prepare for the next person that's coming. You understand? They give you messages to help them fulfill. And also things you want to do for yourself as well. So that's why in the Yoruba world, when they ask somebody what's the meaning of human being in the Yoruba world, a human being is called Eniyon. Eniyon means a chosen one. That's what we refer ourselves to. We say Eniyon. Eniyon means a chosen one, a chosen person. And the reason why we call ourselves Eniyon is because you were chosen from the home of your ancestors in heaven, from your community, not necessarily your community in heaven, to come to earth, to come and fulfill a destiny. So in Christianity, just so everybody have the same destiny, bullshit. Every individual has his own unique destiny in our tradition. So what happened is when you on your way to earth, the Creator, there was only one divinity that witnessed you negotiating your destiny with God, with the Creator, right? The divinity is called Orunmila. He's the only one that witnessed your destiny. Now, on your way to the earth, that's when God now send Ori, which is your consciousness, the Ori, your consciousness, to come to carry your destiny, to guide you through life. So your consciousness is where your destiny is the one carrying your destiny. So everything you do in life, you have to tap into your consciousness, your guiding spirit. In other words, your guiding spirit to guide you through life, to fulfill your destiny on earth. And your goal in life, your purpose in this life is to fulfill your destiny. It's not to come here and become lawyers, like things. The thing when we come to this world, people start giving us different things to become. Oh, you should become your life, you should become this and that. That's the reason why everybody was created. Everybody here was created for a unique purpose. And our spiritual system basically tell you to find your destiny. And the purpose of the Ifa oracle is the divine to help you, tell you what you're doing, whether you're living according to your destiny or not. Once you start living contrary to your destiny, that's when you start having problems in life. That's when the deity Eshu comes into play, because Eshu is a entity that God put on this earth to correct people whenever they're doing wrong. So he's basically the deity that when people are doing evil, doing wrong, he makes sure you don't go unpunished. And that's why Europeans started calling the devil. You understand?
Right.
And it's also the deity that carries justice when somebody do you wrong. You understand? That's his role. He's a messenger of God. He is not a devil. He reports directly to God. And also he's a deity that translates languages. He's the deity when the priests are divining. He's the one that translates the language, the Odu, to the priest, the message that they're divining for you to the priest, the spiritual language to the priest, that the priest will talk to you. So our spiritual system is not devilish at all. Now, as I was saying, in the beginning, when the Orishas built this planet, when they built the earth, when now they created the humans, the human form, our physical form, before our spirit we came. Now God now sent us to come govern the earth as humans. Now when we came, the first king that ruled us was known as Oduduwa. He was a deity, one of the deities. It was an Oduduwa. It was the first king of Ife. It was the first Oni of Ife. That's why the Oni, the word Oni, they shortened the word to Oni. The word Oni means the owner, someone that owns. The real pronunciation is Oni Orisha. That's the real word. But because the word Orisha is so demonized that they've shortened it to Oni, so all Nigeria, a lot of politics is being played, man. The Oni Orisha means the one that has only Orisha. Because what happened was when Oduduwa, the deity that was the first king on earth, he gave us knowledge. I mean, the way to behave, he gave us information on how to live our lives, our moral values, what not to do, what to do as humans, how to live together as human family. He gave us all those information. But when he was dying, he said the person that will now crown as the Oni has to eat part of him. You understand? I mean, it's not like cannibalism, but hey, that was the instruction. So that way he carries part of it in him. You understand? That's why people always say to become the Oni, you have to go through rituals. And all the while when he had kids, one of his kids was when he went to Benin to become the monarch in Benin Kingdom. That's how Benin Kingdom was established. And another part of his kid went to Oyo to establish Oyo Kingdom. So those three kingdoms were like one of the first kingdoms. Their stories go back, So they have basically these stories is deep, man. You have to do your research, So that's what the Oni is about, the Oni of Ife. That's why all Yoruba, all people that come from, they know that they descend from the, always, even in Benin, they'll say that they come from Ife. They originated from Ife. That's what the knowledge. That's why the complete knowledge of this spiritual system is in Ile-Ife. You have to go there if you want to learn. If you want to get the real, And the first king, that's a village in America, the first African American to establish an African village in America, in South Carolina, called the Oyotunji village in the 50s. Right. He went to Nigeria to actually be crowned by the Oni and the Alafi of Oyo to crown the king of Ile-Ife. They established Oyotunji right here, the village in America. And it's unfortunate most African Americans don't know anything about it. Where they practice our sister Ifa, they practice Ifa. They have the priest, they have priest king, they have the king. The second king is the one who's ruling right now, the son of the first king. He's the king of Oyotunji village in South Carolina, and he goes to Nigeria almost time to time to visit, do his riot rituals and everything, So our spiritual system, if I begin to break down the moral teachings of our spiritual, the consequence of things that we do in this life, to you, you'll understand why we're having so much problem that we're having. There's so many taboos.
Let me ask you this. Somebody had a question. They want to know. Let me ask this question. Ask him what is traditional African religion. His Nigerian American friends tell me that in traditional African religions there is no development. If you go,
there's no what?
No development. If you go to the rural communities of Nigeria, many indigenous Africans still live in primitive conditions.
Okay, I have a question. Who are ruling Africa? Who are the people ruling Africa? What's the region of the people in governments ruling Africa? Listen, spirituality. Let me tell you something, man. The people rule. First of all, the presidents, the governors, the local chiefs, the local chairmen, everybody ruling Africa are Christians and Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot blame the poverty in Africa or the underdevelopment, all these things on our spiritual system. You cannot blame it because before the Europeans came, let me tell you something. And somebody was saying to end the corruption in Nigerian government today, even the Alafi for your sake, back in the olden days when you become a chief, so get a position in a governing system, you have to take a oath. You have to take a oath in the shrine that you will not steal or you will not do something against you know what I'm saying? Take an oath in the shrine.
Right.
And when you violate these oaths, there's a spiritual consequence that happens to you. But today, we have Christians and Muslims, they become president, governors in Africa. They take a oath. When they get into office, they take a oath with the Bible and the Quran. And after taking their oaths, what do? They steal money. They work with the Europeans, sell Africa. You understand?
Right.
And if a priest, if someone of a tradition in Africa become president in Africa, I swear to God, you're not still dying after taking an oath before coming in. Because he knows you take an oath with a spirit and you break that oath, you're going to pay detrimental price. And that's why I'm telling you, we need to go back to our system. That's the one God gave us. It's uncorruptible. And one of the reasons why Europeans came and when the Europeans first came, started dealing with our monarchs, they realized we cannot deal with these people because before they deal with us, they doing they're doing readings. They're doing access spirits telling them, no, don't do it. You know, they realized they couldn't deal with the monarch. That's why they created elites. You know, that's why they created countries where they join the tribes together. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What they did, I mean, I'm not against Nigeria breaking up, but I think sometimes I want to advocate that we break up, we go back to our traditional ways, because when you have one of the reasons why we cannot practice our own spiritual system in our government is because when you have a country with different tribes with different religions, right? In the northern Nigeria, they all Islam. In Igbo, they're virtually all most Christians now. I mean, the only place where spiritual system still exists is the Yoruba, among the Yorubas. Most of the Yorubas have become Christian and Muslim. That's
Right.
the only place that still exists, virtually. So now, if we say, okay, let's use our African spiritual system to use as our governing system, they're not going to agree. The Muslims say, no, I'm not that. You know. So what we have in Nigeria is basically we're trapped with the European system. So basically, we cannot even use Islamic or Christianity or to govern ourselves, because we have to use what the British brought to us, which is a very system that's so oh my God, man, it's so they brought a system that's not our own. How is it going to work for you? You understand?
Right.
Back in the olden days, there was no such thing as corruption. I'm telling you, dude, you take an oath. In the olden days in Africa, before Europeans came, you could leave your house and put your property there. Nobody will touch it,
Right.
because they know the consequence of stealing. Our spiritual system, literally, there's no. See, in Christianity, they will tell you that. As a matter of fact, when I was a Christian, I was such a bad boy, man. And ever since I studied my spiritual system, I'm the kind of person where, honestly, drop $1 million in front of me, I call you, say, hey, do you drop your money? Because I know the consequence of doing something bad, dude. If you go to Nigeria today, people that are practicing spiritual indigenous spiritual system, they don't commit crime. They are the people you will not see engaging in crime. Most of the criminals in Nigeria you find in jail are Christians and Muslims, especially Christians. They are the criminals. Because these people here, pastor will tell them, hey, listen, man, if you commit a sin, just come to church and ask for forgiveness, and God will forgive you. So these guys, they think it's okay to just do, they commit crime, they go to church and ask for forgiveness. In our African indigenous spiritual system, if you break the laws, like you do something evil, something bad, that consequence will catch you. There's no forgiveness. It's coming. It's either you rip it in this lifetime or the next lifetime. That's why people, they are so humble. People that are indigenous African spiritual system, they don't partake in bad things, man. I grew up noticing that. These kids we were all calling satanic worshippers in the neighborhood, they're not the one engaging in bad behavior. I grew up in Lagos. I was a Christian boy, and I was always getting in trouble. I was a bad boy. And I remember those kids that we used to run away from. Their father is a voodoo priest.
Right.
Those kids, I remember these kids in Mushi when I was growing up. Kaminu. This kid, when we all doing bad things, this guy would want us to say, you know what you're doing? You used to usually tell us that, do we realize what we are doing to ourselves, engaging in this bad behavior? Like stealing, I remember we used to go jump in people's yard and steal their chicken eggs and go cook, those kind of bad behavior, your Nigerian kids, we used to like trying to scam each other, those kind of things. This kid used to tell me that, do I understand that there's no forgiveness? You're going to rip it. Because that's what they believe. Whether they're in the dark or in the light, these people they're afraid to do evil. And these are the people we are calling devils, satanic worshippers. When Christ, come on, man. I mean, where do we go, man? There's nothing evil. Listen, God did not create no damn Satan, man. God created every positive and negative energies.
Right.
And we human beings, he gave us the wisdom. When he created us, he programmed us with three principles. Yoruba people call it Ogbon, Imo, and Oye. It means wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. These three principles, we put it in us. And now it's up to us to use our consciousness to govern ourselves, govern our behavior. And when we start behaving out of order, that's when things start becoming imbalanced. And that's why we start having problems in society. You understand? We start having problems because we're doing things contrary to the way God has divined the order. You understand? So that's why black people have so much lack of knowledge. And the moment we start studying our spiritual system, getting into this thing, the studies of the Odus, the knowledge they're giving us, the preachers, we will start to realize that, oh, there's certain things we're doing that actually fucked up. Do you know that? Okay, now let me break down the principle of ritual and sacrifice, right? The term ritual means something the activity partake to invite. It's a form of communication with the spirit world, right? To ask for something to come to earth. The term sacrifice is basically you sending something from earth to heaven. That's what sacrifice is. Sacrifice means when you get rid of, when you either kill an animal and the spirit goes to heaven to send a message, to deliver a message, or give an offering. A sacrifice is basically sending something from the physical world to the spirit world. And a ritual is something you do to ask for something in the spirit world to come to physical world. And a lot of things we do, they're dance rituals, they're drum rituals. That's why when we're drumming, we're actually communicating with the spirit world. And do you know a ritual and rituals are something you have to do very carefully? Do you know a ritual, even some rituals, you're supposed to consult the oracle before you perform the rituals? Do you know that some activities that we do in this life are rituals and we don't even know they're rituals and we're doing it carelessly? And one of the activities, do you know that one of the activities is sex? Do you know that?
Oh, wow.
That sex is a ritual.
But let me ask you real quick. Brother in the chat room wants to know, can you explain the difference between Ishe and Ifa?
Say it again. Ashe, what do you mean?
Can you explain the difference? ISESE and Ifa.
Isheshe.
Yeah, Isheshe and Ifa. The difference.
Isheshe is the okay. The word religion party. Isheshe is the practice of the system. The governing is Isheshe is what they define. Oh, you know what? When we call let's call it Isheshe instead of religion. Isheshe is pretty much the Isheshe means something that the practice. So the practice of our system is what they refer to as Isheshe. You understand? It's the practice of the system. That's what Isheshe means. But Ifa is the oracle itself. It's just that the reason why we started using Ifa is because of the diaspora. Because when its system traveled with the slaves to the Caribbeans and South America, they only know the word Ifa and Orisha. And then they also know that Yoruba. They know that it came from the Yoruba. So the three words they knew was the Ifa, Orisha, and the Yoruba. And then the words they always mention, the deities that came with them were like Eshu, Shango, Ogun. You know, they just know the names, but they didn't have the language. You understand? So because the diasporas always say, "Oh, I practice Ifa, I practice Orisha, or I practice Yoruba." But then started giving a name like Santeria, Lukumi. In 80, they call it because in Benin is Voodoo, so in 80, you know, so basically those things are just components of the whole. These names are component of the whole spiritual system. You understand? These are just component of it, you know. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and continue.
Yeah. So now I'll say something, man. This is a preacher, my friend. I told you that one of the rituals that one of the things that's the ritual is sex. I didn't know until I did my research.
Right.
Back in the olden days, right? Back in the ancient time, before you engage in sex with somebody, they have to divine for you to let you know if that person you should have sex with that person or not. They used to divine. But nowadays, sex has become a social behavior. So, you know, Europeans told us, hey man, just a social behavior. Do you know that if somebody's carrying a curse and you have sex with that person, you start carrying the same curse? Do you know that?
I agree. I believe it. I believe you.
I mean, in the physical form, it's always kind of disease, and you have sex with that person, you share the disease, right?
Right.
When the spiritual form, if somebody's carrying, like, there are people that have done so many evil things that curses are following them. You understand? Because the curses have to follow you in order to correct you. It's these things we are calling not nobody in this world there's just righteous that living upright, that curses are just following. You create a curse for yourself. It wasn't someone that created it for you. Even they're saying the evil they're talking about, someone can go to the shrine and do against someone is a lie. As you sitting right now, I cannot go to a shrine and go and do something to harm you. It's not possible.
Right.
You understand? People cannot be harmed. You can only harm yourself. You understand? And when people say they harm people, yes, they can harm someone. The only person that can be harmed is someone that did evil to them. It's justice. The spirit is there to carry out justice. You understand? If you go steal from somebody and they go to the voodoo priest and say, oh, someone stole from me, and they put the case to the spirits, and the spirits will carry out justice. Now, if you did not steal, the spirits are not going to carry. The spirits are not evil. They don't do evil to people. And they just tell us, oh, people are afraid because they hear about something that happened to someone cast a spell on someone. That's a lie. If that's the case,
No, no. Go ahead and finish. Somebody has a question. But go ahead and finish.
Because if that's the case, that people can just use voodoo to kill people, everybody will be dead, man. you know, they say, oh, voodoo is dangerous. No, 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 no. The spirits are righteous. You understand? Now, there are, God, like I said, God created positive energy and negative energy. The negative energy, there's these negative forces, they call it a bad spirit, but to me, God created those energies, they call it the ajogons. They have the spirit that carry out the evils. And they do not go into activation unless they see evil. They go out to engage with evil. So if you're an evil person, those evil spirits live with you. You understand? That's why it's very important for people to live righteous life, man. I'm telling you. People are wondering why their life is so fucked up. They don't realize this activity, the things that you're doing, the things you're doing to your fellow human being, things you're doing to the planet, things you're doing, those evil things that you're doing that you don't realize is the reason why bad things are happening to you. And I was a person that used to like engage in this bad behavior, and I used to wonder why down the line something bad would just happen to me. I wonder until I learned of this thing, I started living some type of righteous life, and things started going well for me, my friend. Like I literally became someone that would not even. There was a time this Nigerian guy came to me and trying to scam somebody, and he wanted me to be involved. He thought I was a smart guy from Lagos. We can do it together. And literally, I said, listen, I'm not involved in this thing, dude. Yeah, I'm not getting involved. I'm telling you, dude, there's no money in the world that will make me put a curse on myself. Our spiritual system really, I'm telling you that if our African leaders would practice our spiritual system, they will not be collaborating with Europeans destroying Africa. I'm telling you, because they know the consequence. These guys doing all these things to the continent, they're gonna reap it. I'm telling you, dude. They can become billionaires all they want. The next, and our spiritual system, if you go and read these old news, it tells you all these things that your one lifetime is a preparation for the next lifetime. Things you do in this lifetime, you start ripping in this lifetime, and you don't finish ripping in this lifetime, you will come back. That's why they want to. Why do some people born in a horrible condition? Like people always say, God is not fair. Why would you let someone be born in a horrible condition? That person in his previous lifetime was very evil. That's why he had to come back to reap evil that he did. And that's what people do not realize. Our spiritual system will scare you from doing evil. I'm telling you, it will scare you from doing evil, man. But white people don't want to say, because when they came, they couldn't find a collaboration from the people that are really into the spiritual system, because they know those people are scared to do evil. So that's why they send on some stupid people to Europe to go get educated and teach them some European way of doing things, and brought them back to become leaders in Africa, to become the ruling people. And then started collaborating with them to loot the continent, robbing the continent. And then they will blame everything on voodoo. Oh, the voodoo is a devilish thing. If you're telling me voodoo is devilish, and this one argument I always have with Nigerians, when they always say our system is devilish, I will ask them, who are the most evil people? What religion is this guy that's looting money? You say, oh, he's not a true Christian. That's what they would tell me.
Yeah, that's what they say. He's not a true Christian. Yeah, that's
when I say this guy right here that stole 20 billion, what's his religion? Is he a Christian? No, see, he's not a true Christian. That's the excuse. I said, no, he's a Christian. What the hell? Whenever they're busted, whenever a pastor is busted, he's not a true pastor. What the hell? What is it then? You know what I'm saying? But then, okay, then I said, okay, you said someone cast a spell on someone is about, okay, then it's not true voodoo, is that? Oh, it's not a true. All these Africans are so messed up, dude, and they would defend Europeans to death. Like,
to death.
They're so brainwashed, man. So brainwashed.
Real quick, so somebody wanted. So this is my question. Then how were the Europeans able to colonialize all the spiritual power we have? How were the Europeans able to colonialize Africa?
Now, let me tell you the truth about colonialism. The way people always describe colonialism, they always think of colonialism as the way they just live it. Like they came there, started shooting the people with guns on their head and say, okay, I'm colonizing you. No, it didn't work like that. It didn't work, because they always say we conquer Africa. They didn't conquer shit. They didn't. See, there may be some areas where people were weak or something. They may shut up the place, but they did not come into Yoruba land and shut up the king and took over. No. There was never a time in Yoruba history where anybody conquered the Ifa Empire. They came there and shut up. They came there as friends. Even to today, they still come to Africa as friends. During colonialism, they were not really in part of Africa where the people there were weak or something. They didn't have a spiritual system, or they realized that, we can bully these people. Like, they did that. But if you're talking about places where people had a spiritual system, even the areas where people were practicing, first of all, before colonialism, they Christianized us first. Before they even began the colonial system where they start acting up, they Christianized the people, and the people they were dealing with in the colonies And when they were colonizing Nigeria and all these places, they were not really colonizing the villages or anything like that. They were just, the colonies were more in the city, the main administrative areas, like the, you know what I'm saying, like Lagos, and the main cities were, and the people they were dealing with more like the people that were Christianized,
Right.
And let me tell you one thing that happened. You see these kings, the kings of Ife, Oba Bini, the only of Ife, the Alafin of all those people.
Right.
Before they become kings, they went through rituals. Like, these are not people you can look at and insult or just this. Let me tell you what happened. There was a guy named Bode Thomas. He was one of the guy, a Nigerian guy, Yoruba guy, the British during the colonial time. They made him High Commissioner, one of the puppets, the Uncle Toms. And this guy thought he was so powerful, and he wanted to do something that the Oba of Oyo was against. And this guy literally insults the Alafin of Oyo. You know what happened to this guy? This guy was barking like a dog till he died. That's what spiritual justice was. He was barking like a dog till he died, man. These are not people we can go and start beefing on. Like, we see guy or stuff, man. Listen, if people are saying, "Oh, I come voodoo cannot, our spiritual system cannot battle our problems," our spiritual system is not the problem. It's the people that are not using it. If all Africans, that's why the Europeans are making sure we don't go to it, because they know that the day all Black Americans, all Blacks will go back to their spiritual system, there's no goddamn white man. They've done, they're finished. They cannot come to you. White people are scared of these things. I'm telling you, because they know the history. They're sitting in the 80s. They're scared of it. When they come to Nigeria, they're lying on paper of the history saying, "Oh, we conquered them. If you conquer us, why are we still there? Why are you not there?" Anyway, Europeans conquer, they kill the people, man. They wipe them off. So what are you talking about? You conquer Africa? You didn't conquer us. You're just playing games that's working for you. You're using Africa to conquer Africa. That's what's going on.
Right.
Everything they're doing in Africa is with the collaboration of Africans. Slavery was with collaboration of Africans. Colonialism was collaboration of Africans. So Africans are the one killing African. Are the one fucking African up. It's not the white men. They just are smart enough. That's all. They're using Africans to destroy Africa, and they're saying we're conquering it. Even till today, when everything they're taking out of the soil, they're using Africans to dig it, because they don't want to use their own hands to dig it, because they don't know if these people have put because if Africans do all these places they're taking these resources, if Africans go for ritual, I personally know. That's why I was telling somebody from Nigeria, from the Niger Delta. I said, "Listen, man, you see that Hoi that's in the Niger Delta? If that Hoi was in Yoruba land, in Ilefe, where they still practice our stuff, I swear I put it on everything. Nobody, they can do some ritual on that land where anybody that good at to touch Hoi will die." Because in Niger Delta, all those areas, they're all Christianized. All Igbos in Niger Delta, all those people, they're all Christians. That's why they're being oppressed. I don't know anywhere in Yoruba land where white men is coming to take anything, like, you know what I'm saying? Because there are people there, they got the safest place in Nigeria is in Southwest. Ask any Nigerian. It's in the Yoruba land, Southwest. That's where everybody goes to live to be safe, because there's something they do in Yoruba land. I'm telling you, dude. When you go ask, whenever there's I remember whenever
so Il Ife is in Yoruba land.
Yeah, it's in Yoruba land. Yeah, that's where all Yorubas came from. That's where all Yorubas came from in all the empire. That's the Ile-Ife is in Yoruba land,
Yeah, so that's where I'll be in August. Okay.
In August, you go to the Oshun Festival. Oshun, man, she's a goddess of the river.
Yeah.
There used to be Oshun River there. She's known all over the diaspora, man. She's venerated in Brazil. There's Oshun, even in the United States, people, you do Oshun Festival. If you go to Caribbeans, Cuba, Trinidad and Tobago, Oshun they make songs for Oshun. She's a very powerful.
Okay, let me ask you this question real quick. All right, we got to deal with this because people keep bringing this up in the chat room. Now, a lot of people justify, I would say, renouncing indigenous African religion and accepting Christianity is because Christianity came from Africa. What are your thoughts on that statement?
I'll tell you, man. See, the thing about people is this, man. Many of the things we are learning, all these people that reading, I see some people, like some people call it the same Hebrew Israelite, they pick up Bible and use it to be, they pick up a story reading by white people and trying to use it to claim as history, You understand what I'm saying? Like, history documented by whites, things that are written by whites, and if Christianity started in somewhere, I know it didn't start from Ilefe, it didn't start from where the Africa I know. You know what? This is my advice to people, man. If you did not exist during this time, you don't have to believe it. You did not exist when they're telling you something happened. You don't have to believe it. My spiritual system, I'm not telling you to believe it. I'm just telling you I see our spiritual system. They can show you things. If you go to Yoruba land, you went to Benin, didn't they call spirit to come? Did you witness spirit came? You saw it, right? You
Right.
saw
Yeah.
when people can invoke spirit, people can do things. In my case, if I cannot see it, I don't believe it. Christianity, people say, oh, Christianity, you pray that you don't see anything, you don't see any results. This religion, they will tell you, oh, they'll open a book and start telling you, oh, this is what God said, this is that. I need something tangible. Show me. In Nigeria, you go there. Some people, see, when you went to Benin, I saw a video when you went to the guy that was reading for you. I'm like, oh, this guy's not a true priest. Because a true reading, first thing first is they will give you that thing they call Pele in Yoruba land. I don't know what they call it in Benin. You have to use to touch your head, your ori, to get make contact before they cast the reading. Because your ori is what's going to communicate. You understand?
Okay.
So I said, there's a lot of fake priests in Africa. I mean, people that are not trained. Because, like I said, for you to become a real priest, it takes 10 years of studying. 10 years. Some people, it took them 30 years to become a priest. So a lot of them, if you go to Ife, you'll find a real priest, man. Go to Yoruba land, you'll find him. And make sure you go to the monarchs to direct you to the real priest, because there are a lot of scammers out there, man.
Okay.
In our tradition, like I said, reason why, in my story, for example, I give you my own testimony. In my own life, I saw it. The priest just told me what's going to happen, and it happened. A pastor will just tell you some bullshit, and when he'll just do some guesswork for you, he will tell you, these pastors are just guessing. Christianity is not artificial religions, man. In Islam, they just say Allah, they say Jesus, and I don't see anything. You can't you can't read the oracle for me. You can't show me something. You can't let me fix a problem. You can't do nothing. All you do is just tell me to have faith. All you do is tell me believe it. If you don't believe it, you go to hell. What the heck? Why would God just tell you to follow something blindly?
So next question. Then we got a couple more questions and we'll close out. Is there a concept of the devil and hell in Yoruba religion?
Absolutely not. There is no devil. God created everything, and He created positive and negative energy. You understand? There's no devil. There is no concept of devil. That old devil concept, if you go study history, it came from the Zoroaster in Persian time, when Zoroaster came over with it. Before Zoroaster came over with it, he was going to create the whole concept of God and devil. Even before then, spirituality all over the world did not believe in concept. There was no such thing as devil. Everybody believed in God, and God creates everything. He created both the energy, negative and positive energy, negative force and positive force, just to create balance. Now, based on our interaction and our deeds, we can either maintain balance or create imbalance. And whenever we create imbalance, it's when we start having problems. And when we die, you understand, we go back to the home of our ancestors. We go back to pretty much, like I said, every individual comes to this earth to fulfill a particular destiny. And if you fail to fulfill a destiny, well, there's no reward, I guess, there's probably reward in the home of your ancestors, but there's no such thing as the only punishment by doing is that you will come back to this earth to repeat. Heaven and hell is on this earth. There's no such thing as after you die, we're just taking through in fire. Come on, it doesn't work like that, man. Because He that created you knew your ability. He knew you can make mistakes. You can fail. You can fail on the mission. It's like you sending your child to the market, right? You expecting to possibly fail you send your child to go do something. You expecting to possibly make mistakes and fail. But when your child comes home, you're not gonna throw him in head, like just you know what I'm saying, turn on fire. When you're the one, that's your child. Especially a God that created us to be fragile, to be people that can possibly do wrong and right. The only thing is, every wrong we do, we're gonna reap it. The only thing in our spiritual system is that you're gonna reap everything. You're gonna eventually be the one to kind of fix things that you destroy. You understand? Whether in this lifetime or in your next lifetime, go believe in reincarnation. You see how you mess up this world, and you go to heaven, He's gonna send you back in a condition that you created to reap it. So people are born into harsh condition is as a result of the life they lived before. You understand?
Wow.
Yeah, it's as a result. So God is not wicked to let somebody be born into a harsh condition. You understand? So, like, if you read in a study, if you go study if you go just get with a priest, start giving you some lectures. In one of the lectures, in the lectures, like when somebody was negotiating the destiny with the Creator, the person had already came to this earth before, and the second time the person was coming, right, he was negotiating the destiny. Now, this destiny, one is you negotiating what you want to come do for yourself and your ancestors, and the other one is what God wants you to do, and then the third one is what God the attachment. That's what they call the attachment, and your mom, meaning God will choose your gender your height, your strength, and your weaknesses. But now in the midst of the negotiation, God can tell you that in your previous life, maybe you were a very beautiful woman, and because you use your beauty to deceive men and do all kinds of evil, He's gonna say, okay, this time I'm gonna make you a very ugly woman.
Mm.
You
Wow.
get it? So
Well,
your previous life was a very beautiful woman, and you were, because you're so cute, you use your beauty to destroy people's lives. Or maybe you're a very handsome person, and because you're so handsome, you decided to pimp girls all around the place, and you think, oh, you're just gonna get away with it. And so the next life you come, you probably be a guy with a very fucked up look that you won't even get girls. So you wonder why the guy created me so ugly. You created yourself that way. The life you've lived before. So that's not what our tradition is teaching us. Our tradition teaches us things that make us think like, listen, it makes sense for me not to do wrong. You understand what I'm saying? These are real teachings. But Christianity don't teach you that, man. They tell you, hey, if you ask for God for forgiveness, you're going to heaven, even if you've done all the worst things in the world. As long as you come on Sunday and tell the priest, confess to the priest, and pay your offering and tithes, and you make it to heaven. These religions destroy us, man. I'm telling you. And Europeans know why they brought it, because they needed us to be corrupt in order for them to be able to, loot our continents. They need Africans to be corrupt in order for them to be able to steal, take everything they want, Because if Africans are righteous, we're all scared to do bad. We're scared of the spirits. The consequences of doing bad. We are righteous. They're not going to be able to find these collaborators they're using to just rob the continent and look at it, using people to destroy people, man. Every black person want to do something, they use another black person to bring him down,
brother, I mean, everybody, thank you for joining us, brother. Thank you. I mean, for bringing it, man. Everybody's loving it in the chat room, and we'll ask this last question. This is the last question. How can one connect with his ancestors through African spirituality?
Knowledge, man. Knowledge is, they just seek knowledge, man. And one thing I'll tell you something about. There's a saying that when a student is their spirits, I'm telling you that they're constantly our ancestors, our people. They're constantly in contact with us. Their spirit, they talk to them. We don't even listen. They are literally in pain, crying for the way we are living. We are so ignorant. People are saying, "Oh man, I'll tell you another." Oh my God, man! I need to tell this one. This is very important, dude.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it early. Do you know that things that our ancestors are doing on our behalf in the spirit world? Oh my God! Do you know that? Like I mentioned earlier, every things created on this earth were created by the Orishas, right? And I would tell you, let me tell you one thing. Do you know that I discovered that there's no material in this world? The nuclear bomb is nothing. Do you know that anything that's made of this earth, any weapon that's made of this earth, is associated to a particular Orisha? And let's say a fire, for example. If I invoke Shango, who is a god of, he's the Orisha of the fire and lightning, anything that's fire or electricity. If Shango comes there, if you invoke the spirit of Shango, he can take the ashes out of the fire, where the fire will not burn anybody. You can, if you go to rituals where they invoke the spirit of Shango, the fire, any fire or whatever. That's how the Asian won the war, because when they invoked the deity, the weapons that the French were using against them were not killing them, were useless. You understand? The guns, because the thing that used to make the weapons were metals and fire, and the deities pretty much took the ashe, the power out of those weapons. That the weapons were not effective on the Asians during the Asian Revolution, because the French, they had the weapons. Do you know that if they drop a nuclear bomb and all these bombs, the material they used to make them are from this earth? And if an Orisha is invoked, the Orisha can take the ashe out of their weapon, where the weapon becomes useless. That's how powerful we are. Wow. In wars in Yoruba, in wars, I was hearing stories during the Biafran War. There was some Yorubas that fought the war during the Biafran War, and some of them went to the war with charms, and whereby when they were getting shot, the bullet were not going through them. So things like that happen in Africa. Even the Zulus, when they used to fight against even the British, were doing some research trying to find out what happened. Like when the Zulus used to go to war with the British during those days, they used to invoke, because in Zulu they have this, they call it Sangoma. The Orisha that's there in their pantheon, I think it's Shango, which is god of lightning. And they realized that the British were not able to kill them, because back then, back in the olden days, we used to go to war with our deities. But nowadays, we've lost it. Europeans come out there and start shooting at us. We just die So all these things, the powers are there, So we have this power to these deities are more powerful than anything on this earth. Anything. They build this earth. They create every material. So there's no weapon, whether it's tanks, all these things you look in China, Russia, all these weapons. The Orishas, I'm talking about spirit of Orisha. I was hearing things about people in Nigeria that can actually point at a plane and the plane will drop from the sky. And Orisha can evoke a spirit. Ogun. That's the same. Like the Yorubas in Nigeria, people always say Yoruba people are scared to go to war. They're cowards. Usually, Igbo people always say that stuff because in Nigeria, whenever like people want to start a civil war, Yoruba people always say, "Oh no, let's come in, let's not do it," because there was in Odu in the story of Ifa, the oracle told the Yorubas, the Oduduwa, the first king, told them not to ever go to war, not to ever make war with anyone. Always make peace. Wait till somebody bring war to you, and if someone bring war to you, you invoke Ogun. And that person will be destroyed, no matter what, that entity, that you know what I'm saying? Ogun is the god of war. You understand? So we have these deities, we have these powers, man. But somehow we're so lost, thinking this is demonic. Where our mind is so away from me. Europeans were able to brainwash us and just colonize our minds. We became stupid, man. Oh man,
Yeah,
brother, man.
Brother, well, I mean, people want to know how they can contact with you. What's get in contact with you and build? What's your contact information so we could or how would you like people to get in contact with you if you want them to get in contact with you?
Probably email would be the best, man, because I'm really not guiding the social media thing, man. Like all this Facebook, all this, I'm not really into it. Like I'm the kind of guy that's really disconnected from all these social things, man. I don't even watch all these because things disgust me, man. I'm telling you, I don't even spend my time watching reality shows like things. When I look at our people, man, I just feel disgusted. Like. So I'm not really out there with social media and all these things because unless people I really watch to listen to are people that are into the spiritual system. That's people I really, even my own family members, I don't even visit them much. They oh, you don't come around. I don't have time for you guys, man. Because when I come around, I'm telling my own family member will not even listen to me to lecture them. That's how Christianized they are. Like they say, oh, these guys, they're even afraid of me, thinking I'm a devil guy, I'm gonna do evil to them, Now I'm like, no, I don't have time for you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time. You guys need to, and they will not pick up a book and read, because they've just made up their mind that our spiritual system is demonic, it's evil. Without reading a single book or even a single research, So, I mean, with me, to contact me, it's just email, man.
Okay.
I mean,
all right, what I'll do. Yeah, well, give me your email address. So in fact, I got it right here. But go ahead and tell people.
Yeah, you got my I have a
yeah, but tell people your email address so I could
Say it again.
Go ahead and share it. Go ahead and tell people your email address.
You can email me at ofshouston@yahoo.com or sitefixtechnology@yahoo.com. Sorry, sitefixtechnology@gmail.com.
All right, let me go ahead and put that in the chat room. And everybody, thank you so much for everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight at Search for Uhuru. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also go to searchforuhuru.com, amazon.com, search your name, Dynasty Mirror, go to dynastymirror.com, and also go to africapersonified.africa. And please go to Africa Personified on social media as well, every platform. Please go to Africa Personified. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Mike, thank you so much for coming on, brother. We got to have you back on soon.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Any more topics, man, I'm definitely willing to come on anytime,
All right, absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Till next time. Peace.